Ladies and gentlemen, fast food companies are directly responsible for people being morbidly obese, because it's not always a choice, as Alex wanted to frame it, to eat fast food people. We provided tons of analysis. They've never wanted to deal with adequately in an in-depth manner about how fast food is addictive and how it can be exploited for particular groups within society. And as we said, we provided an analogy that they wanted to diss again, but it's akin to providing already drunk people with alcohol, because these people aren't able to continually make an informed decision about why they're consuming these foods. I'll be looking at two issues, and if I've got time, a third issue in this debate. First of all, why it's the company's responsibility, and second of all, why it will help the morbidly obese. So on to this first, about company's responsibility. We provided tons of reasons at SAM, about why it is the company's responsibility. The first of these was that it's addictive. Now the opposite wants to diss this and say that it's not as bad as cigarettes. True, it might not be as bad as cigarettes, but it required a more in-depth response than that particular response. Because as we said, it affects reward pathways that involve neurotransmitters like acetylcholine, serotonin, and the upregulation of specific regulators which change your brain morphology and do make you addicted to sort of the happiness that it provides by eating these particular foods. We also said that there is misleading information, and we also said that you can target vulnerable people in society with exploitative marketing techniques, particularly aimed at children and poorer people and the lesser educated. So their response to this was to first of all say that there are several steps involved in getting fat, and where individuals can opt out at any stage, and companies are a small role. First of all, as I've already said, we don't think they gave adequate time and airspace to our addictive argument there. Second of all, we said that it doesn't actually require a decade to become morbidly obese. We all saw Supersized Me, where you can actually become quite fat in quite a relatively short period of time, right? It doesn't require a decade to become morbidly obese. Third response is that fast food companies are the only factor in this process of getting fat that are directly exploiting the individual, and they therefore should be the ones that are being held accountable, because they are the only ones that are using these particular marketing techniques. And we say that in response to their idea that they can just indulge in Cadbury chocolate, we say that Cadbury chocolate isn't marketed as a way of life where you continually eat that for breakfast, lunch and dinner. It's marketed as an indulgent treat, right? That's the difference. That's why these particular companies can be held responsibility. But finally, Justin said something that was never responded to, that even if it's not their entire responsibility, we can hold them accountable, because the state provided the necessary means for them to become successful companies, and therefore they can be held accountable for these externalities. One of the other things the opposition brought us was that advertising targets new consumers, not the morbidly obese. We say that one, that they do target people that continually eat fatty foods, because they do have repeat customers. And two, that's the problem, right? If they're continually getting new consumers who are getting fat, that is a problem, not a problem with whatever they want to say. One of the other things they brought us is that there is nutritional information on burgers, right? So everyone knows what's going on, they can make an informed decision. First of all, our model is retrospective, right? There wasn't always this nutritional information, so there wasn't always this ability to make an informed choice. Second of all, we said that it's incredibly hard to understand this nutritional information. No one knows what carbs to fat ratio you're meant to have, or how the kilojoules actually translate to what you're meant to be eating. And we said that no one understands the daily recommended intake of sodium. So you can't actually make an informed decision on the basis of these numbers on the back of a burger. So most recently, Alex brought us that advertising is not race, and would not, could we be requiring them to advertise the worst case scenario in all circumstances? First response is we say that we often do make companies show the worst case scenario. We look at cigarette packets. They've got the worst case scenarios of smoking cigarettes on them. Second response, we say that it's not always direct marketing that's misleading. And that's a simple interpretation of our argument we presented. What we actually said is that it's the association provided by many of these advertising campaigns. When you link McDonald's with the NRL, or when you link it with Ironman competitions, which give it the appearance of appearing healthy. It's that sort of misleading advertising that can't be accounted for. So on to the second issue of the debate as to why it will help the morbidly obese. We gave you three reasons. We first of all said that it helps them pay for any medical treatment. Second of all, we said it provides them the capacity to change. And third of all, it provides them with some sort of emotional closure in regards their current state of wellness. Their first response to this was so what? We're decreasing their happiness if we're taking away more of their fatty foods. First of all, you don't think the morbidly obese are that happy in the first place. I mean, the morbidly obese. Second, the indulgent treat for skinny people is still allowed. So if you are a healthy person, you're still allowed to have the occasional McDonald's burger. Third response is we're quite happy to accept a marginal decrease in happiness to improve the health of everyone in society, particularly those most vulnerable, like the morbidly obese. Second thing the opposition brought us was that they can just go for a run, like they don't need any money. First response, Justin told you about the opportunity cost with like work and the ability to exercise that money provides. Second response is the process of getting skinny isn't that easy, right? It requires motivation. It requires help with particular exercises that a personal trainer might be able to provide. It requires monitoring of how they're going in their progress in losing weight. It requires dietary advice. It requires all these additional steps that do cost money. And we think that actually helps in our work. Third response is when you're actually that morbidly obese, you can't get out the door to go for a run. So, the third thing they brought us was that it's not worth helping the obese for taking money away from skinny people. And this is what Alex was talking about, that it's like unfair within society. First response is we don't quite see how we're doing this, we're taking money away from multi-corporations. Second of all, we're saying we're helping society anyway, so we're helping these skinny people indirectly. Insofar as they want to talk about like medical insurance, if we reduce the premium for everyone because not everyone's so fat, then that's a good thing. Alex brought us quite late was that being individually responsible encourages better change. And this was the majority of us standing. First response is we don't think being individually responsible directly correlates to change, because that's clearly doing a great job in the status quo with getting those fat individuals who are told of their own fat fault to get skinny, because they're clearly remaining morbidly obese. Second response is that our model actually provides with a mechanism to get change. Not just saying it's your fault, now go for a run. We're actually providing with money to be able to get this change and to be able to improve their current way of living. The third issue in this debate was the change in societal behaviours and behaviour of companies. We said first of all that it provides a clear causal link between what you eat and how you become obese. And that provides like a link for people to understand and get change in the way in which they behave and how they eat, leading to a healthy society. The second response we got, the second thing we said, was that fast food companies can rebrand and can change their marketing techniques. Their response was basically that fast food companies shouldn't have to rebrand and that they're not going to change targeting the poorer people. As we've already said, like this is no problem. Like if the food provided for the poorer people is now like healthier, that's a good thing. We don't think they're going to jack up their prices because they're not losing their market base. We can still provide healthier food for the poorer people within society. Ladies and gentlemen, the trade-off in this debate is clear. On the opposition side of the house, the best case scenario is that some people remain happy. The worst case scenario is that there is no change in company behaviour, more people fat, and there's a decreased ability for fat people to actually lose this weight. On the outside of the house, the worst case scenario is that a few multi-billion-dollar companies are slightly annoying. The best case scenario is we have a decreased number of morbidly obese individuals. We have improved company behaviour, and we have long-term change in an approach to healthiness within society. For all these reasons, I'm quite proud to affirm.